From the Channel Seed Studios, welcome to The Hook. A look behind the lines with Mike Palm and Ken Miller. Powered by Circa Sports Iowa. Sports betting the way it should be. This is Iowa Everywhere.
Channel Seed. Seedsmanship at work.
And hello again, everyone, and welcome to a weekend episode of The Hook. My name is Ken Miller. That's Mike Palm, the Vice President of Operations at Circa. I'm along with Trent Condon, Talk Sports on Des Moines Sports Station, 106.3 KXNO, weekdays from 11 to 1. Mike, Circa was in town. I know Aiden was over at Wellman's last night. Chris Williams, the Iowa Everywhere. Trent made an appearance. Good to see, good crowd. Apparently pretty good signups last night, and they're going to be there again tonight before they head back on the plane to Las Vegas. But the relationship with Wellman's is going strong.
12. That's the report I got from Jeff Benson. They did 12 new signups yesterday. And then they're at some golf tournament today, and then they're heading home Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, Principal Charity Classic, which is underway at Wakanda on Fleur on your way to the airport there. So good stuff. Well, Mike, a lot of ground to cover with you. Stanley Cup game number 1 in Las Vegas tomorrow. So with an event as big as that is, the Stanley Cup, of course, the Super Bowl is going to be there in February. Does it even make a ripple in the pond? I mean, there's so much to do in Las Vegas. Where does the Stanley Cup being in town rank?
Yeah, I don't know. We had very high demand for it from our customers who wanted to go. So I think it'll be a really hot ticket to try to get a hold of tomorrow night and Monday night as well. We're 6 years removed from that inaugural season when they had and it never kind of caught everybody by surprise. Nobody could believe that an expansion team was in the final. And now I think it's a little different experience this time around. And maybe there's more expectations of winning it. They're slight favorites.
Mm-hmm.
So I know the watch parties. So we're the official watch party for Game 3 when they're on the road next Thursday in South Florida. But we'll be throwing watch parties at the Book and Stadium Swim and Bar Canada, for every game. So it's pretty important, and even the most casual fans are pretty excited about what's happening here this weekend.
How many of the original Golden Knights are still on the roster? Do you have any idea? Marcia Show and Carlson,
yeah.
Marcia Show.
Yep, I would go through here and take a look at the roster to give you the number. Boy, if I had to guess off the top of my head, 5 or 6 or 7.
Shea Theodore, was he an original?
Yes.
Yeah. No goalies, of course.
Oh no.
No. That might be it.
Go on.
Mark Stone came over from Ottawa, the captain.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where was Chandler Stevenson? Was he somewhere before he came?
Yeah, he wasn't here in the beginning.
Okay. He's a better player than I thought he was. He's really impressed me these playoffs.
Too. He's been very good in the playoffs here. I'm not a huge Stevenson guy.
Yeah.
But Carrier.
He was there. He was original. Okay.
Riley Smith.
Of course, Riley Smith, and he's a Florida Panther, former Panther.
Shea Theodore.
Yep.
Braden McNabb, Marcia Show, and Carlson.
All right, so more than I thought.
Yeah, 6.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Marcia Show and Riley Smith both were cast-offs by Florida. When you think back to 2018, they were picked last. Everybody picked them last. Because this has never happened before, and they get all the way to a cup. Washington and Ovechkin beat them as they got by Winnipeg after Winnipeg won Game 1, and then broke my heart that they got swept in the next 4 went to Las Vegas. Obviously, this is a much more winnable series. They're favored to do so. Mike, I just can't get over this Florida Panthers team, though. I just think that there's something about them. The way that they got into the playoffs in the first place, having to Pittsburgh to lose to Chicago and to Columbus on back-to-back nights.
Terrible last week of the year. I mean,
right?
And I actually said, with my Bruins tickets, I wanted Pittsburgh. I said a month out, I want to play Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh can't score enough goals to beat the Bruins. And then Florida got in there, and I said it could be dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And, it all kind of came to fruition there. But think about this: if the Panthers win the Stanley Cup, they would have beaten the team with the most points in hockey.
Yeah.
The team with the second most points in hockey in Carolina.
Yeah.
The team with the third most points, no, Carolina, New Jersey didn't face, but the fourth most points, Toronto and Vegas tied for fourth most. So they would have beaten every conceivable high seed except New Jersey out of the top 5.
Right.
And being the very last team, to get in the playoffs. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, they were literally the last team to qualify for the playoffs.
Yeah, 92 points.
Yeah, Pittsburgh wins.
92 points, which was the lowest. What was I going to say, Kenny? I wanted to say something, and it lost my. I mean, I remember the game with 2 weeks left where he started Lyon in Toronto, and I said, well,
they're waving the white flag.
Paul Maurice has given up. He's not playing. And then Lyon took him down the last 8 or 9 games.
Yep.
And then he went back to Bobrovsky, after the 4th game of the first round.
Yeah. I mean, to beat Boston, to beat Toronto, to beat Carolina, it's remarkable that they are here. Matthew Tkachuk is playing out of his mind, but he's got help. I mean, this is a really good hockey team. I'm a Paul Maurice guy. He's been in the league. Do you realize he got his first head coaching job when he was 28 years old? Think about that. Hartford Whalers, 28 years of age. He's behind the bench as the head coach. That's crazy to think.
Well, he was, the head coach when Brendan Moore was the assistant there with that franchise, right? I mean, so and then they met in the East Final, but and he played in the league, Paul Maurice. I mean, Banks knows him pretty well. Darren Banks, it's
I think they crossed paths in the Ontario League. Maurice hurt his eye, and that was it.
He's a close friends with Paul Maurice.
Is that a fact? Interesting.
Yeah, he talks to Paul, and the other guy, he's very close friends with Barry Trotz.
Oh wow!
And Bruce Boudreau. Banks is they've often come to our places in the off season, and during the season will stop and hang out with us.
Yeah, I mean, you see a lot of people, a lot of athletes make their way to Circa during their off season. Mm-hmm. No doubt about that. All right, so let's talk about the series overall. Vegas is the favorite. Florida is plus money, but not. It was a plus $1.02 this morning. Is it still there in advance of Game 1 tomorrow night, Saturday night?
Yeah, let me look. I'll get the latest number here right now. I'm just going into it. Well, I got to go through all these props here the way they list everything here. Oh, that's a different prop. What the hell am I looking at here?
They're plus $1.04. I got it at Wager Talk. Minus 114 on the Golden Knights, $1.04 for the Panthers.
Yeah, 104.
So if you like the Golden Knights, you only
Hill is still 12-1. I was right, 12-1.
Yeah.
Bobrovsky 2-1.
2-1. He's the favorite to win the Conn Smythe. Well, it just goes to show you
plus 250.
If you want to bet on the Stanley Cup, I mean, you're laying minus 130 on the Golden Knights. Most places in Vegas, all the places on the app. You guys are minus $1.14. That's a huge difference.
Sure, it is.
It's a big difference.
Sure,
we tell people all the time, shop around, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to end up on your Circa app. Let's talk about that Circa app real quick, Mike, because it's been enhanced over the last. Since we talked, Trent and I did essentially an infomercial on Survivor and Millions last week rather, when you had all the stuff going on around the launch of it. It's been a while since we've spoken, so we should probably catch up on that, the app and the changes that are part of it.
Yeah, well, we went to this hub and spoke thing, so that where, when we put everything in a central hub, like you hear with the airlines, but the hub here in Las Vegas, then it can disseminate to all the spokes. It's not three separate systems, which we had an upgrade to do that, which it allows us to offer that in-game menu then in all the other states.
So when you say spokes, would one spoke be Iowa, one spoke be Colorado?
Colorado,
Yep.
Illinois, maybe
Yep.
Kentucky, just like
Yep.
that. Yeah. So,
Gotcha.
and then the contest launch, I mean, the headline is obviously the guarantee. We
Mhm.
stuck with 6 million in the millions contest, even though we didn't get there last year. We were at just under 4.7 million, 4,700 entries, and then we increased the survivor up from 6 to 8 million, and then the sub headline to me is the number of entries, which you go from a maximum of 6 entries in the survivor now up to 10,
Mhm.
and in the millions from a maximum 3 entries per person up to 5.
Our little group, a part of our group, and we had 3 entries last year. We had 6 people kick in $500 a piece. One of the guys in our group texted us today and said, "Fellas, I'm out. I'm doing it on my own, and I'm buying 10 entries."
Really?
Yes.
He
So
increased his investment 20x.
yes, and wave goodbye to the little group.
Uh-oh.
Well, we're increasing ours as well, but he wants to do it on his own. He
Yeah.
wants to, and more power to him, right?
And Trent's on his own, right? He's
And
not
Trent's
part
on
of it.
his own. Yep. Trent's on his own, and our group, and we're going to be out in Las Vegas from the 8th to the 13th. If you would more information on it, including a really nice offer from our friends at Circa, 30% off your room rate. Go to the Miller and Condon Twitter page, Miller and Condon, Condon Twitter page, and you can just follow the steps and follow the link, and you'll get your discount there. The 8th, which is a Tuesday, through the 13th, which is a Saturday. So we're a couple of weeks in advance of the big event. Would that maybe get in the way of your Illinois launch? Are you closer to a date as far as Illinois?
No, it's really, we're waiting on regulation now. The provider for the app and the system, who's on their agenda in June, and then Full House still has to get their full license, which gives them ability to offer sports. The mill work has begun. They're building the book out now in the temporary facility. So we're hoping with on late June agenda, we get those approvals that will be going the end of first week, start of second week of August.
So help me out with Illinois. In Iowa, in the beginning, you actually had to show up at the property to sign up. That quickly went away. Is that the case in Illinois? You can just sign up from your couch?
Yeah.
Or do you have to show up?
Yeah. Remote, correct. Remote funding and remote registration. So obviously we want to build that big in the permanent facility in about 3 years when they build it, that big book that'll be an attraction, much like the one is here in Las Vegas. But you see, the difference in the ease of people getting access when you're able to do it remotely, and you put your driver's license in and all that, and they do all that verification.
You mentioned Kentucky. Is that coming to fruition?
Well, they want to. They're writing the rules for the state now. They've got 28 skins technically. Each facility, each racetrack has 3.
Okay.
And they want to. The state legislature and the governor have said they want to be in business by December 28th, I believe, is the date. They're hoping football. I don't know if that can happen.
Right.
In September, but. And maybe if we get involved, it's not till the spring, but we're in active talks there with a few operators.
Got you. Since they're writing the rules, we don't know if what's set in stone or not. But it's such a basketball crazy state. Would that be on the table that you could bet on Louisville? You can bet on Kentucky games?
I really think so. And we talked to 2 of the regulators that sit on the board. Okay. And they asked us a bunch of opinions about it. And one of those things was local teams and do you see any kind of activity? And they also asked us about remote funding and remote registration and our thoughts on that. And we said, look, frankly, if your goal is to create as much tax revenue as you can, then you want to have those things.
It's the only way to do it, right? Only way to do it. All right. Well, we'll certainly pay attention to that. We're paying attention to the NBA, although last night, my gosh, that was tough to watch, Mike. Did you make it through all 48 minutes or did you turn the channel?
Cumulatively, I think I watched about 10 minutes of play.
Yeah.
I turned it off. I went back. I'm doing some other things at home, still catching up from being on vacation. And No, I couldn't sit through it. And I thought the result was sort of predetermined early on what was going to happen there. And so, no, it didn't catch my eye that I could continue to watch it.
Yeah, there was no point in the game that I thought, you know what, Miami's got to come back in them. You just wait. This is going to happen. So you were in New York last week. Did you, I guess, not get involved with any of the operators out there, but there's certainly a lot of them. It's so difficult to operate in Kentucky. You guys like to, make it better friendly, right? You offer the best prices you possibly can. I see so many. When you come to New York, please come to New York. It's just hard to do so with your business model.
No, but not with our model and the barrier to entry, the licensing fee, and then the tax structure. It's just like we wouldn't go to Tennessee next to Kentucky because of the onerous tax structure.
Yeah.
So, there's no advertising of it in New York. Now, I didn't get to go to Yankee Stadium because of the flight delay, but like anywhere I was, I never saw one bit of advertising for any sports book. Granted, I watched very little TV. We would just go with the kids and go from here to there, but nothing in, walking the streets, watch signage, and just nothing.
No cabs, no advertising.
Nothing on cabs, nothing. It was, and maybe there's regulations there against
maybe.
it. I would have had to sort it out how to get involved. I wouldn't have been hit with it and thought, oh, maybe it's something I can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know that they're on radio a bunch out there because I hear some stuff, and I know that, but that could be maybe they do make it difficult for you to advertise. Real quick, one more on the NBA. Is this going to go past 4 or 5 games?
I'd be surprised if it goes past 5. I really would. And there's some pretty sharp guys I know bet the sweep.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I the most popular bet here was Nuggets minus a game and a half. That got bet up to 190 when it closed.
Wow.
Nuggets, so think about that. Yeah. Playing the game and a half was still $1.90.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But that just goes. Look, they're as we saw last night. They're just playing at a different level. The Nuggets are, and I just I like Jimmy Butler. I like I like his tenacity and the fact that he brings his teammates along with him. But boy, oh boy, they're overmatched in this series. Let's spend a few minutes talking baseball. We haven't done that in a while since we've last spoken. What's caught your attention on the diamond, Mike Palm?
This AL East continues to be the standout division with all the teams above 500. Baltimore's playing awful well.
Really well.
Tampa Bay went to Wrigley Field, couldn't hit the ball at all, but they stole the last game. I thought they were going to get swept. I mean, Stroman one hit them. They couldn't. They're scoring 7 runs a game. They couldn't hit the ball at all at Wrigley.
How about the Braves going to Oakland on Monday and Tuesday?
The scheduling spot was awful for the
Braves. Terrible. Sunday night baseball got in at 6 a.m. and had to play.
Tuesday. How do you explain the Tuesday? You thought that was a bounce back spot there.
Yeah.
They didn't. It's interesting. I don't know. I might have written the Mets off a little early. I know they're about 3
Starting
games.
to bounce back.
Yeah, I think they're in the mix.
And they get the Blue Jays this weekend, I want to say. So that'll be a pretty good series.
I think they're in the mix. Cardinals have obviously clawing their way back into it.
A little bit, yeah.
I'm surprised the Cubs, they got swept by the Reds. I thought that was awful.
Mm-hmm.
Look, the Diamondbacks continue to play good ball. It looks like they're going to be at least a wild card team in the National League. Like I said, they got 2 good pitchers at the top of that rotation.
Mm-hmm.
They stole the game from Colorado yesterday. I was watching that here. Yep. We're having our first ever Circa slot tournament next weekend in the evenings, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So the system was installed. So we were doing some mock tournaments to see how it worked. And in the background, across the book, I mean, they had 2 outs, runner on first, and they were down a run. They scored 2 runs to beat Colorado in that game. So I think they're tied with the Dodgers as we go into.
They are. All right, going into the weekend. Yankees and Dodgers should be a fun series this weekend. Yep. That's Sunday night baseball. So just real quick, because I've seen slot tournaments forever. I have no idea how they work. How do they work? Because what I see is people ping, 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 is as many plays as they can.
Yeah, true. But ours are all interactive. So you're pinging, but you're also, with your other hand, you're hitting different icons and choosing stuff. And it's very intense. With this, my forearms hurt when I did this 2-minute session. I mean, it's Cleopatra's, this theme. The one at the D that we've been doing for years is called Spinferno with the devil theme. This is on the Cleopatra machines, which are much newer and big, gaudy and all that, and clean looking. So we'll have those. But it's video poker tournaments a little more skill how you play, and you play with
Yeah.
perfect strategy in that. But slot tournaments is just it's a random, and who gets the most spins, and obviously increases your chance to win.
Occupancy at the D. I hear so many people, since Trent and I have got involved with Circa, we talk about Fremont Street all the time and how much we love it. We hear people, we spend our time at Circa, but we just, for whatever reason, love to stay at the D. We've been staying there. Have you noticed, has Circa cut into the D's occupancy, or has it helped?
It's our slot coin in's gone up since Circa opened at the D. The occupancy's gone up a couple notches from about 89 to about 92.
Wow.
I think it's helped, and there's a certain crowd that prefers it. Yeah, do they make a day of their trip or a few hours of their trip? Maybe for the restaurant choices at Circa, obviously there's more.
Yeah.
But they like the vibe of the D, especially they like that second floor.
Yeah.
With the Sigma Derby machines and now the Bacon Nation, and of course, I was trying to put in, because Derek was asking, is there any other local channel like over the airways channel, non-cable, that's showing the Stanley Cup Finals other than TNT, or is it only TNT? Can you access it here? Is there channel 3 or 5 or that's showing any part of it? And I said, I don't think so, because ABC doesn't have the rights with TNT, only with ESPN. But I was searching on my phone, and I'm trying to say, what channel can you watch it on in Las Vegas? And I said where, which meant places.
Yeah.
First was a Yelp ranking of where's the best place to watch the Stanley Cup Finals.
Canada.
It was number 1.
That's
it was
wild.
Number 1 on the Yelp list.
That's wild.
Yeah.
A lot of Canadians probably filling out those surveys because they love to stay there. In our final couple of minutes, yesterday marked the 4-year anniversary. You took your first bets on Fremont Street. It was across the street. Circa wasn't open yet. Golden Gate took the first bets. In the 4 years, maybe a couple of highlights, Mike, of the 4 years, how fast you have grown. And I'm guessing you've grown quicker than you thought that you originally would.
Yeah, more along Derek's projections than mine. Probably about 20% above mine. Right on with his. In 3 states, about to be 4. I'm hopeful of Kentucky. Maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but I think we've got a good opportunity there. It's interesting when you think about a location. If you're going to build a brick and mortar, would you rather be the one closest to Nashville or Knoxville? I'm not sure with college towns if that's good or not in terms of a demographic that's into sports betting. But I look back at some of the pictures from opening day. I mean, I had more hair, was a little thinner. It's pretty amazing that was 4 years ago. We did a no juice, so you didn't have to lay any juice. Every bet was even money on that day. So we took a whacking, but we got so many pro bettors to come out and introduce the brand, because what was Circa? Nobody even knew. The building wasn't open yet, and we were just at the little Golden Gate over there. So I'm very happy with what Matt Metcalf did and what he put together, the team, and Jeff Benson and Chris Bennett, who's now the acting director, and we brought Jeff Davis on, which was a very key move. Got him from Caesars a few years in, and built a real good staff. Got young guys, up and comers that those guys have been grooming, and I think we've done a pretty good job. Great customer service and getting our brand out there, the marketing, and then continuing to build our menu.
Benson is phenomenal on Twitter with customer service. I mean, he really is. And he's just great. Anyways, Mike, congratulations on the 4 years. Let's do this again next week. Who are you taking, Panthers or the Golden Knights?
I'll probably play it game by game. I do think the winner of game 1 wins the series. So it's interesting. If Florida wins game 1, there'll probably be maybe $1.70 favorite going into game 2, having stole that game. And maybe I'll take a look at Florida, maybe minus a game and a half at that point. If the Knights win, then I'll probably play it game by game.
Yeah, gotcha. Have a good weekend, Mike Palm. Thanks for doing this. We'll see you next week. And we thank everybody for tuning in here to The Hook, brought to us by our friends at Circa Sports. You can download the app here in the state of Iowa, coming soon to Illinois. And we hope to see you out in Las Vegas. Sign up for Survivor or for Millions. Again, the Miller and Condon Twitter account, 30% off your room. You can see it. It's pinned at the top of the Miller and Condon Twitter account. There are all the details. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you next time.